I'd like to thank Her Excellency, Ms. Nita Bhushan, for her effort, for giving me permission to host the workshop in this beautiful atmosphere, unthinkable atmosphere. Now, we look before and after and pine for what is not. I read long time ago as a child this poem. But here we got Swayam Bharat Mata is there. So we are not lacking anything.
Wow.
Now, Honorable Chairperson, sisters and brothers, I'd like to convey my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Her Excellency for encouraging me to organize this workshop on the relevance of Indian philosophy to contemporary Western philosophy on her premises. I would like to convey thanks from the bottom of my heart to Mr. Durgadas, who is in charge of events, Mr. Mukesh Gia, who is the head of the, for his unthinkable cooperation, and Mr. Manoj Kumar Sahu for their support and facilities at the High Commission. I also convey my thanks to the staff of the High Commission, especially Sam Sundarji and the security personnel and others also. They have entertained us with tea all the time and time to time samosa and other things. This workshop is a unique event, not only in New Zealand, but also in the world, as this type of workshop has never been held in the past.
Yes.
I would also like to thank from the bottom of my heart the sponsors such as Harsh Gupta, who was in the hospital, in the ICU, intensive care unit, but he supported. I did not ask him. Then Hitesh Chauhan, Ashok, Anita Bhashi, Kiran Thakrar. She is also a great soul. I did not ask her, but she contributed, she supported. Viaduct and my former student Shivani Bhotra, Ajay Parmar, Srikant Chatterjee from Palmerston North, Ravi, Prabha Bardhan, Priti, Tara, Ronil, Vindi, Deshpande, Ajendra, Shashi Jokan, Viaduct Service Station, as well as Bharat Samaj and our Society for Philosophy and Culture. I am also very grateful to my advisory group, Dr. Tulsi Parashar, who is not here, Praveen Chaudhary, and my former student, Rish Baker, who is here. He was my former student 10, 14 years ago. 10, I think some 10 or 11 years ago. Always he is in favor of this type of workshop. And he has offered his unconditional service to this project. Then, outstanding and dedicated participants, I adore you. because you have come of your own. You have spent so much money for learning. This mission has to be successful. And I adore you because you are devoted to learning. Learning the cause which is greater than anything else in the world. As my Panditji says, Nahi Jnana Samam Pavitram Iha Vidyate. That means there is nothing purer than knowledge in this world. You are craving for knowledge, so you are dedicated to this knowledge. Then I would like to convey my thanks to journalist Venu Menon and his wife Sharada Menon, as you have always supported us, and sometimes you have spent 1 hour for interview, and you have published several articles in the journals. This workshop aims to promote the ideals of great masters, including Ramakrishna Vivekananda. With your blessings, goodwill, support, and encouragement, our dreams are being realized. As you are aware, the aim is to have a dialogue between diverse traditions of Europe, Asia, North, South, East, West, so that each tradition derives some inspiration from the other, and they, far from being incompatible, would complement each other. Hence, this workshop falsifies the claim that East is East, West is West, and never the twain shall meet. R. Kipling. As you know, when I went to America, when I came to New Zealand, the first question I was asked whether Indians got any philosophy distinct from religion. This is the image of Western philosophers. Now, this workshop introduced topics in epistemology, such as sources of knowledge, fallacies in the Nair system, Tarka, which cannot be translated as reductio ad absurdum argument of Western philosophy, skepticism, doubt, belief, Gettier and post-Gettier counterexamples to the justified true belief definition of knowledge in contemporary Western philosophy, which is coming from Plato. So, we have discussed at length the problems coming from Plato, and we solve this problem from the perspective of Indian philosophers, especially Nair. That itself is a great achievement, because they are using 3 terms: belief, truth, and justification, but not relating each other. But our philosophers, Indian philosophers, claim that justification is the property of true belief. It has to be belief first, then true, then justified. It is like saying that there is a man with red iron mask in this room. Is it true by virtue of having a man in this room and an iron mask and a red object? No. Red is to be the qualifier of iron mask, and iron mask has to be qualifier of human being. I am also, thanks to Kamil and Karun Lakshman. I have not mentioned their name because they are not here, but I am very grateful to them. Hence, one problem coming from Plato solved. I focused on the meanings of sentences and transformationally equivalent sentences. For example, Brutus killed Caesar, Caesar was killed by Brutus. We discussed at length. It is coming from Frege, then Chomsky. All of you have heard his name. MIT School of Linguistics, they have not yet solved. Whether they have the same meaning, and there are innumerable expressions of that type. I gave a book to Tom, Tom received a book from me. Do they have the same meaning? They are arguing intuitively. And I suggested solutions from Indian philosopher that they do not have the same meaning because direction of the relation changes. So we have solved the problem of our contemporary linguists, linguistic philosophers, especially MIT group. Then we have also suggested solutions to the Frege-Russell problem, why a subject term is saturated and the predicate term is unsaturated. When I say Socrates is a human being, Socrates is subject term and predicate is a human being. There are 10 views regarding predicate and which one is subject in Western philosophy, but none in Indian philosophy. That itself is great. And they have suggested solutions to this problem. So the Nyaya view has also been compared with the views of contemporary logicians as well as the views of Aristotle as well as the views of recent paraconsistent logicians. I developed the law of contradiction, pure logic, and we have shown how superior our logic is comparison to Aristotle, comparison to contemporary philosophers, as it does not involve contradiction. Like P and not P. In Western logic, current logic, if I say it is raining and not raining, you can prove 2 plus 2 is 4. No relevance. Everybody will understand, I think. But Indian philosophers have claimed that there is no relevance. Relevance is very important because Purusharthas, the 4 goals of life, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, they are all related. And entire philosophy, outlook of Indian culture is how to alleviate suffering. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. World is one. And everybody, everything, including plants, are our relations. Including rivers, mountains, they are also relations. We should take the attitude of love and respect towards everything. This has been said so many thousands of years ago. It is coming from the Vedic civilization. Veda means knowledge. So, we have discussed all the topics, including dharma, and the law of karma, the conception of God, Maya, and the goal of philosophy. And we have also discussed causation, which is related to science also, Shankar, Bauddha and Nyaya philosophers. Since we are focusing on global problems, as the world is torn apart by several types of conflicts, including conflicts of religion, culture and values, we emphasize the concept of harmony, focusing on the Indian concept of freedom and the nature of human beings. There are several ways of doing Indian philosophy, but I have focused mainly on how to reconcile some of the conflicting views in contemporary Western philosophy and how to suggest new or better solutions to some of the problems of contemporary philosophy and how to suggest solutions to some age-old unsolved problems of Western philosophy and how to add new dimensions to Western philosophy. Now, I would like to recommend that the word philosophy in Western Hemisphere does not capture our conception of philosophy because we have three words for philosophy. One is Moksha Shastra, science of liberation. Another is Annikshiki. Annikshiki is quoted nearly 3,000 years ago. Pradipa Sarva Vidyanam, Upaya Sarva Karmanam, Ashraya Sarva Dharmanam, Satsat Anniki Mata Kautilya. Translation: philosophy deals with all the basic questions of all the sciences, fundamental questions of all the sciences, such as physics, biology, material science, mathematics. Unfortunately, I could not discuss Nyaya conception of number because of shortage of time. Cardinal number as well as ordinal number. Unique. It cannot be captured by Western framework. Then, and it deals with the methods for doing things in a better way. If you know philosophy, then you can think, you can systematize, you can do things in a better way. And which one is the presupposition for which one? That is called Avashar Sangati in Gangesha, nearly 700 or 800 years ago. Gangesha wrote on Sangati, means relevance, how things are to be organized in terms of relevance, which one will precede which one. And if you want to know what virtue is, then you have to read philosophy. And the word darshana also is part of philosophy, realization, and thereby planning your activities and continuing dharmic activities. So Gangesha, great Nabunayayik, and my Guruji happens to be disciple of this group, but he also contributed something new. I used to discuss with him how to solve Western problems. And if there is any merit, it is to be attributed to my Guruji, and for all demerits I am to be held responsible. Similarly, the word dharma cannot be translated as religion or ethics in the Western sense. Dharma goes far beyond the conduct of human beings living in societies. It also deals with the conduct of human beings not living in societies, such as living in caves, the behavior towards animals, the behavior towards plants. In our culture, if you cut a tree with fruits and flowers, then there is a propitiation ceremony, praschit. So the behavior, attitude towards inanimate objects such as mountains and rivers. You will read when they scaled the Mount Everest, what Tenzin said, he had a feeling of reverence. Respect and reverence. Reverence is more than respect. But not everyone has got reverence towards mountains and rivers. It also deals with, moreover, it cannot be equated with religion. That is the worst thing to happen. It deals with everybody, our dharmic activities. It holds the world. Meaning of dharma is that which holds. It is the pillar of the world, not only human society or living beings, but of the world. Grihate iti dharma. The Nyaya realism, sometimes we use Western terms to interpret Indian concepts. So there are two terms like realism and idealism in Western. But the Nyaya realism means the object of your knowledge is outside. And idealism means one meaning that it is inside, like your appearance, like your dream, and so on. But Nyaya realism cannot be captured by Western concept of realism. But our scholars have interpreted by using the framework of Western scholars. And that is a great blunder for misunderstanding. So, Western realism, this is because some of the qualities such as numbers greater than 1, temporal and spatial remoteness, Paratya as well as nearness are dependent on the mind, called apeksha buddhi. One example, if you have seen 10-story buildings, you can say this building tall. Or you see that building 4-story, it is tall, in the sense that you have not seen such a building which is 10-storied. So with respect to 10-storied building, you can say it is tall. But the person who has seen buildings in New York, he will say it is not tall. Nyaya has explained very clearly. There is a problem in Western philosophy. All of you can understand this, that it is dependent on apeksha buddhi. What you have known and how you are judging the present condition, background knowledge. So, similarly, a discussion on sources of knowledge. All of you are aware of perception as a source of knowledge, but in the context of Indian philosophy, it varies from 1 to 11. 1 to 11. And Western philosophers emphasize only perception and inference. So that debate itself is a big debate in the context of Indian philosophy. Followers, since the Nyaya philosophers do not accept 11 sources of knowledge, they have accepted only 4, and thereby they have reduced other sources of knowledge to these 4. Now, there is a tendency to use the word tarka in Indian philosophy as a reductio ad absurdum argument. But tarka is not to be interpreted in terms of Western thought. It is something different from other terms. Similarly, the fallacies are not to be interpreted in Western terms. Now, because of shortage of time, I would like to conclude that all the technical terms of India require explanation with examples if possible. Otherwise, we'll get a distorted, misleading picture of Indian philosophy. And as I tried to substantiate that Indian philosophers can solve contemporary Western problems of MIT school of philosophers, problems coming from Plato onwards. As you know, Whitehead said, entire Western philosophy is a footnote of Plato. So our philosophy is 10 times superior, or even more than 10 times superior to entire Western philosophy. So this workshop is the beginning of our uphill battle. And as Vivekananda used to say, stop not until the goal is reached. So we have to continue this spirit. It should not evaporate. It should crystallize. Let this convention echo the truth of our great sister Nivedita, the Irish disciple of Swami Vivekananda, the greatest disciple of Swami Vivekananda. She said, the whole history of the world shows that the Indian intellect is second to none. Let this be the global forum for the cultivation of this truth. With this note, I offer my pranam to the living gods and goddesses of this temple, Bharat Mata.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful speech.